Boiled egg. Another boiled egg. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can serve the same food to a child, to a baby, in different ways, and it is going to have different effects on that child. So I'll go right on and slice one, while I'll turn this one to a puree. So the eggs are ready. I've sliced this one. Then we have the puree. So in many cases, when it comes to offering babies who have started swallowing, when it comes to giving them food, the first thing that comes to mind is to give them something smooth, something you have mashed or something you have blended into a puree. It is good to give babies puree. It is good. You can do that with things like eggs. You can do that with your fish, with your meat, with your fruits, your vegetables. You can practically mash or even blend anything into a puree for baby. But it's important to know that as much as you want to offer little babies who are just starting semi-solids or solid puree or smooth food or food with smooth consistency, you also want to be very careful, because in many cases baby will just go on and have this and be used to foods that are just smooth, and when you try to introduce them to things like this with a different texture, either they are rejecting it or they'll start vomiting it because this is what they've been on. When it comes to offering solids, that period you're just starting solid, as much as you want to, and not even if you want to start with something smooth, something like this, maybe you want to match the food, it can be anything at all. In this video, I'm using egg, for example. I have a period maybe just starting solids. Even if you want to start with things like this, purees and all, it's important to also introduce them to finger foods, to things like this. Because oftentimes people tell you need to wait for baby to be around 8 months or 9 months before you can start offering finger foods. No, it is not true. Right from 6 months, right from the period you're offering solids, you can actually start introducing your baby to finger foods. I'm using eggs, for example. It can be anything, it can be fruits, it can be vegetables. The most important thing is that they are served in safe shapes and sizes. All of these have been handled in the feeding course. For those also the feeding course, you already know. Finger foods are generally food you can grab with your hand. So when it comes to finger foods, you don't need to wait till your baby is 9 months, 10 months, 1 year or 2 years. The longer you wait before offering finger foods, the more your baby will be dependent and be so used to foods that are smooth. On the other hand, the earlier you offer finger foods, the better for your baby. Finger foods has lots and lots of benefits, because as much as you want to focus on your baby's nutrients, the nutrients in the food, the nutrients is very important, but beyond the nutrients, your baby is not just eating for nutrients sake alone. They are eating for lots and lots of developmental skills they need as they grow. For example, babies are born with very strong gag reflex. When you give them smooth food, it does not really handle the gag reflex. So your baby is not really trained to eat foods with other texture. So the day you introduce this for the first time, they'll have a very strong gag reflex and it look like, oh, they want to throw up. Before you know it, that's the first time of introducing such kind of food with texture, and you'll stop because you're scared, almost as if baby is choking, because they're only used to smooth food. The day you want to have textured food, it's almost as if they are choking because they have a very strong gag reflex, and it's as if they want to choke on the food, they want to vomit, and this alone can scare you. But right from the onset, if I introduce finger foods in safe shapes and sizes, baby gets used to the variety of foods early, variety of texture early, and the gag reflex will start reducing. And before you know, such baby can take variety of foods with different texture without having to struggle. So when it comes to offering food, even if you want to start with food that are smooth, with purees, with soft food that are smooth in texture, introduce finger foods early. This helps them train the gag reflex to start subsiding as they grow, and maybe will be able to tolerate more textured food. Like I said initially, it's not just about nutrients. Maybe they're going to be developing lots of skills. But maybe they're allowed to start grabbing foods early. This helps with their coordination a lot, their hand movement, their eye-hand movement, their coordination, their muscle skills. It helps them a lot. By the time they put it in their mouth, it helps them to start developing the chewing skill. And that chewing skill is so important. These muscles responsible for chewing are still the ones that are still going to help in their speech. And that is why research is now showing that most babies who are just on purees alone or foods that are just smooth tend to have problem with speech delay. So often there's this, oh, you're just giving soft food that are smooth. When a child is on purees, on smooth food for a long period of time, this can put them at risk of experiencing some delay with their speech, because the muscle for chewing is not trained. And those group of muscles for chewing, jaw movement, these things are still needed for speech. So when a child is not exposed to these things early, it can contribute to them experiencing some speech delay. So when it comes to food, as much as you want to pay attention to the nutrients, it's important to be at the back of your mind that your child is developing and they need some developmental skills. And as you serve them food, they can get the skills as they are growing. I get a lot of, oh, but the child does not have teeth. They don't need teeth to chew. Their gum is strong enough enough. That is why when you're breastfeeding, they bite you with that gum, you can feel the pain because that gum is strong enough. So that's another mistake. People tend to say, oh, the child does not have teeth yet. No, they don't need teeth to chew. Yours is to give them foods in safe shape and sizes and monitor your child as they eat. When it comes to feeding babies around the time they are starting solids, do not just stick to things that are just smooth. Offer them variety of foods. Beyond the nutrient, they're going to be developing lots of skills as they grow. So I hope this is helpful and I hope to see you in the next one. Until then, bye.